Hey everyone, this is Teacher Katie with another grammar point for you. Today we're going to do part 2 of gerunds and infinitives. We're going to continue talking about them as the direct object of a verb, and we're going to talk about gerunds as the object of a preposition. Let's get started. Remember that gerunds and infinitives are verbs that act like nouns, and they can be the direct object of a verb. In our first sentence, the word reading is our gerund, and we formed that with the verb plus ing. In the second sentence, to read is our infinitive, and we formed that by using the word to plus the base form of the verb. Last time we talked about the 3 types of verbs: verbs that only take a gerund, verbs that only take an infinitive, and verbs that can take either a gerund or an infinitive. Remember, it just takes practice to know which verbs go in each group. So keep your ears open, and every time you hear one, try saying it over several times to yourself, and soon it will become natural. So let's look at the first 2 groups first. Last time I gave you these 2 lists of verbs that belong only with gerunds or only with infinitives. Today I want to add a few more words to these lists. We're going to start with gerunds, and we're going to use the gerund phrase going to the store to help you understand the verbs. The first verb is can't stand. I can say, I can't stand going to the store. Or, I dislike going to the store. Or, I don't mind going to the store. I feel like going to the store, or I suggest going to the store. On the infinitive side, we can say, to change your address, we're going to use this phrase to help us understand the verbs. We can say, be sure to change your address. You seem to change your address often. Do you wish to change your address? Don't fail to change your address when you move. Or, wait to change your address until you move into your new apartment. Now let's talk about the third type of verb. Verbs that can take either a gerund or an infinitive. Here's one of those verbs. Like. We can say, I like running, or I like to run. Love. We can say, I love sleeping late, or I love to sleep late. This is true of me. I love to sleep late. We also have the verb prefer. I prefer watching soccer, or I prefer to watch soccer. We have the verb start. We should start exercising daily, or we should start to exercise daily. Begin. The children began laughing, or the children began to laugh. Continue. We will continue driving, or we will continue to drive. Now all of these verbs are ones that can take either a gerund or an infinitive with no change in meaning. So, write these verbs down in your notebook. You can use like, love, prefer, start, begin, and continue with either a gerund or an infinitive. Now be careful. There are a few verbs that do change a meaning depending on whether you use a gerund or an infinitive. These verbs are forget, remember, regret, stop, and try. We won't be talking about this today, but possibly in a future lesson. So here I have a paragraph that I wrote. I want you to find all of the gerunds and infinitives in this paragraph. Pause the video if you need extra time. I'll read the paragraph to you. I plan to live a long and healthy life, so there are many things that I do to stay in shape. I avoid eating sweets whenever possible. Sometimes this is difficult because I love candy. However, I learned to say no when people offer me dessert. I also quit buying foods with lots of sugar, and I chose to eat more fruit and vegetables instead. I also started exercising every week. I enjoy riding my bike, dancing, and playing soccer. I would love to try yoga or Pilates sometime in the future. Exercising makes me feel wonderful. I hope to stay healthy and active for a long time. Are you ready to check whether you found all the gerunds and infinitives in this paragraph? Let's start with gerunds. Here they are: eating, buying, exercising, riding, dancing, playing, and exercising. Here are all the infinitives in this paragraph: to live, to stay, to say, to eat, to try, and to stay. Now, pay attention to the verbs that we use before these gerunds and infinitives. Remember, sometimes the verb can only take a gerund, sometimes the verb can only take an infinitive, and sometimes it can take either. This just comes with practice. Speaking of practice, let's do some practice of our own. I want you to choose the correct answer to these sentences. Pause the video so you have time to write the sentences down. Go ahead, pause it now. Welcome back. Let's check your answers. Number 1, I don't like studying math, or I don't like to study math. Don't like is on our third group. We can use it with a gerund or an infinitive. Number 2, the children talked about playing baseball. Number 3, be sure to wash the dishes tonight. Number 4, let's continue walking down this street. Or, let's continue to walk down this street. Number 5, he prefers riding his bike to work. Or, he prefers to ride his bike to work. Continue and prefer are both in our group 3 where it can take a gerund or an infinitive. Number 6, you should consider going to Seattle. Number 7, I recommend seeing that movie. Number 8, I promise to call you this weekend. Take a look at number 2. Here we have the children talked about playing. This is what we're going to talk about next. Gerunds as the object of a preposition. So keep in mind, only gerunds can be the object of a preposition. We can say, let's go to the park instead of watching TV. Our preposition is instead of, and our gerund is watching. But don't use an infinitive after a preposition. We can't say, let's go to the park instead of to watch TV. This is incorrect. Only use a gerund after a preposition. What are prepositions? Prepositions are those little words that show the place, time, and relationship of a noun to the world around it. I'm sure you recognize these words below: about, above, after, before, beneath, between, by, despite, for, from, in, into, near, over, of, to, since, through, with, and without. Today we're only going to be talking about a few of these prepositions, right here. And we're going to be learning some expressions. Let's start with about. Here are some expressions that we can say: angry about, excited about, depressed about, sad about, happy about. Notice a lot of these are emotions. Complain about, talk about, worry about, and think about. Here are our other prepositions that we're talking about today. We have of, afraid of, sick of, tired of, and sick and tired of. We have for to, we have object to. Remember, object means to say no to. We have the preposition with. Our expression is bored with. Under for, we have apologize for. Remember, apologize is to say sorry. And our last one, in, we can say believe in. Remember, with all of these expressions, the ones with about, of, to, with, for, and in, we're going to use a gerund following. So let's do some practice. Here I have 8 sentences. You need to fill in the preposition and also the gerund. Pause this video so that you have time to fill in the answers. Welcome back. Let's check your answers. I always get nervous about failing. Number 2, we believe in respecting others. Number 3, Tom is bored with watching TV. Number 4, Cassie is excited about going to Cairo. Number 5, he is sick and tired of writing essays. Number 6, they apologized for interrupting the company meeting. Number 7, I object to driving in the snow. Number 8, she always complains about getting up for work at 5 a.m. So, now it's time to do some free practice where you write your own sentences. So, I want you to write 5 sentences using these expressions, followed by a gerund. For example, you can say, I'm afraid of driving in the snow. You can use that if you want for your first sentence, or you can do 5 more. We'll check those sentences later in class.